Welcome to this presentation. I'm Ajoy Basu. We come to the first slide, and this is the one for before the interview. I have split it into three parts: before the interview, during the interview, and after the interview. As I promised in my last presentation, which was the third one in the interview series, I'm here with the final one. The first three presented special points from the viewpoint of the panelist. Personally, and as a panelist, I've always felt that every candidate you meet presents you with a golden opportunity to make a difference both to the organization you serve and also to the candidate. While the organization should get the candidate of choice, every candidate should walk out of that interview session that much more enriched, directed or redirected, and resourced. In a way, I consider it as returning to society what you have gained over a lifetime. From the candidate side, well before the interview, you need to think and look inwards. Are you a great performer? Whether you are 2 to 3 times more productive than the average performer. It is looking at the mirror honestly. Specifically, you need to ask yourself the following questions. Is the technical competence your strength? How good are you at written and spoken communication? How good are you at numbers orientation? How good are you at legal orientation? Are you temperamentally balanced, not overly emotional? You need to ask these questions to yourself, as this is a trigger moment for self-discovery. For strategically, these matter the most for your career, your future. Prepare a list of all your strengths, your positives that you must necessarily communicate. Many of these will form part of your answers to the queries which are raised by the interviewers. Some interviewers give you an opportunity to add to your submissions so that they can take that into the reckoning. You need to proclaim all that. You can actually memorize that part of the narrative of what you should necessarily inform the panelists. Of course, these strengths should be real. If not asked at all, request that you need to add a little more about yourself to the panel. Also, list down your weaknesses. We all have, don't we? And the probable questions that may be asked relating to them. Well, you need to tell the truth. There's no problem in admitting. You should put it in such a way that the panel realizes you're conscious of them and that you're working to improve on them. Tell them that the correction is part of your prescription, your riyaz. As an interview panelist, I've always liked a candidate who spontaneously responds to a tough question, even about his or her weakness, meeting the eye and telling you that I've taken charge of and I'm overcoming it and how. It makes a sense to also look at yourself in the mirror, the real mirror, in a mock effort to rehearse for the interview. If you do not like the way the person looks and performs in the mirror, how on earth will you expect someone else to like you? And finally, as you wait outside the interview room, waiting to be called in, think of the magic goal you scored in your younger days, the runs which you scored, which won the match, the accolades you received for performing an extraordinary feat. The interview panel will see the bounce in your walk, your assured look as you start your side of the interview. We come to the next slide, which is about during the interview. Do implement the points which I have stated in the first slide, that is the pre-interview slide. That will make a difference. I like the way once one candidate asked of us, the panel members at the interview, "Sirs, I have an earnest request to make. After the interview is concluded, can you spare 2 minutes to tell me what I need to improve on, change myself to be a better candidate and a better person? I'll be extremely grateful to you." This request can be made by you in the early part of the interview when there is a silent spot. When the last question is answered and the next one takes time to come, that's the silent spot. You can gently raise your hand and seize the opportunity. This sort of a request registers immediately in the minds of the panelists. It tells them about someone who looks for opportunities for self-improvement and self-development. More importantly, it shows that you have the courage to hear about your own weaknesses in stark terms. Find a way to tell the panel about your riyaz, the daily prescription to enhance your knowledge, skills and fitness, about how self-empowering it is. Every panelist likes to listen to someone who is striving to grow systematically in an objective, methodical, and disciplined manner. You will notice that there is someone on the panel who is just brilliant. If not, it's not worth joining that company unless you're desperate for the job. If you were to choose among the panelists as to who is the best, you should be able to choose that one without batting an eyelid. If you cannot ascertain his name, grasp his features and the attire he or she wears, I'll tell you very soon why you need to do that. As you prepare to leave, remind them of the 2 minutes of advice or guidance you had sought from them. You will be surprised, you will get a profusion of it. There are good people everywhere. When you leave, take the permission, and important, to restore the chair to its proper position. We now come to the third slide. This is a slide for after the interview. As you come out of the interview room, look to meet the HR manager or executive. Ask them about the person whom you have identified as a brilliant person to interact with on the panel. Tell the executive that this panelist was extremely impressive and that you feel positively impacted by him or her. Just ask briefly about him or her. Let me tell you, the HR functionary will tell the panelist how much of an impact he or she creates on the panel. That feeling has its own weight in the final reckoning when the race is close. And who knows, you may meet again. Sit for about 5 minutes near the reception or the waiting room and jot down the 5 important takeaways from that interview. If you delay, you could forget something which could have the seed of a game changer for you. That you should not miss. When you go back home, reflect on the interview, whether you could give your best to that. Should the experience change the prescription of your Riyaz? I think that's a very important takeaway. So friends, these are the special points I wish to advance to every interviewee, every candidate who aspires to get a suitable job and build his or her career over the years. It can be a beautiful journey if you can commit yourself on the lines mentioned above and as detailed in many of the posts and articles I have posted on this platform. With this 4th capsule, I conclude my interview series, 4 of them. I really enjoyed bringing them to you. Trust you too have enjoyed and gained from them. I'll leave you with a parting comment. Do a job and build a career. The job must be something that absorbs you, makes you both contribute and learn, and makes you see the light of a career ahead. Thank you very much for watching this capsule.